Hello everybody, and today I wish to discuss student loan forgiveness because this is something that President Biden and a lot of major Democrat leaders such as Chuck Schumer are trying to push for. Now let's do a quick little stance on where everyone lands, right? And if we look towards it, what we have is Biden wants to at least get rid of or forgive $10,000 worth of student loan debt depending on the income threshold that your family has earned or you have earned at the time. This will help out many different Americans, obviously, as there are millions upon millions of student loan debt. Again, everything will be down in the description below. Please research for yourself, as always. But nevertheless, he wants to do $10,000 in student loan forgiveness. On top of that, you have Chuck Schumer trying to advocate for $50,000 in student loan forgiveness. And, well, with the Democrat majority, with Kamala acting as a tiebreaker, it seems to be that this will happen, at least at some point in time. It may not happen as its own bill because the Republicans in the Senate can shut it down, but if they reconcilize it through a spending measure for 2022, then we could see this occurring. However, it is a major gamble. Let's look at it purely based off of the principle. And the principle alone is that hardworking Americans have to pay off people for taking up a decision that they made. They have decided for whatever reason to go to college. Sometimes it is for a degree that is meaningful. It is worthwhile. These can be a STEM degree such as engineering, physics, or anything in between. Or it can be something useless, such as a gender studies degree. I know that upsets some people, however, just look at the employments per degree. So, what you have is hardworking Americans, people that are the mechanics of the world, people that are the carpenters, electricians, or even people that are lawyers nowadays who have paid off their own debts and struggled through their own means now have to subsidize students that have made the wrong decision. So it's a matter of paying for someone else. That's the first issue. Okay. The second issue comes in terms of it being a issue of racism to a degree. If you're doing something to benefit specifically a race of color, whatever it may or may not be, and in this case the talk is that it will be benefiting the black households of America, and at least when it comes to an economic working paper published by the Roosevelt Institute, says it will help merely for the racial justice terms. They say that the total percentage of black households that would benefit would be greater than white households, and the relative gains for those households' net worth are far larger, the researchers found. However, it's pushed in this article, and even Schumer has talked about it multiple times, as it is for the minorities of the country. And if you're doing it for a group that is racist, at least in my opinion, if you do anything down a racial line that isn't trying to even the playing field, as in you abolishing Jim Crow laws because those are prohibiting humans from voting, from exercising their basic right, if it isn't something along those lines where you're making everyone have a equal opportunity, then it's racist. And in this regard, they want to eliminate student debt for those that are a minority, and there's even talks of only eliminating student debt for those who are POCs, persons of color. And that's racist. Racism should not be allowed in the government, but the Democrats run a very racist mindset. They are very bigoted humans and individuals, Schumer being one of the leading ones. So not only do we have to bail out other individuals for their poor life decisions, but it's also an argument for racism. But nevertheless, we can look towards it and keep pushing forward. And what we see is there is at least some legal argument for this to occur. As it does say in the New York Times article down below, please look for yourself, there's a legal argument for it by the executive action, which hinges on the passage in the Higher Education Act of 1965 that gives the Education Secretary the power to compromise, waive, or release federal student loan debts. Now, we do see that Biden is very hesitant, and he does not seem to want to do this through executive order. So at least good on Biden in that regard. However, this is going to continue to be a big push, especially not just Schumer, but you have Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, and Kamala Harris all there acting as these front runners and making this push. It's going to get increasingly difficult to stop this wave. So be prepared. Be prepared that you're going to have to pay off someone else's debt. Sure, what you're doing is going to help individuals out. They are going to be paying off no longer their student debts, but they can go towards something else. It can act as a stimulus where their extra money per month can go into the economy or into other bills or whatever may or may not be. All right, cool. But you're setting a precedent that the government will be there to help you out. And that's ignoring the fact that currently student loan payments keep getting deferred. As of 2021, it's been pushed back to October, all the way to November in some cases. So take that in mind as well. And what we see is with this deferment is students aren't paying off on their interest-free debt currently. They're just spending it on other things. So who knows? Maybe it is the right decision to pay off the debt. Ignoring the principles behind it, maybe it would be better that we pay off the debt so that the younger generations and even some of those middle-aged individuals can then spend their money to something more wise and they'll be in better financial terms. But I don't think that'll be the case. I think it just helps instill a lack of self-responsibility, and it helps instill the idea, the notion that the government will always be there for you. And that's ignoring the fact that the government can't simply pay for it. Our debt's growing crazier every year. But what do I know? What do any of us know? Maybe it's better to just be a little bit more progressive, right? Anyways, thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. Leave a like, do subscribe, and as always, God bless America.